All right, thank you for having the courage to watch this video. I'm going to be very transparent. I'm going to give a disclaimer early in this video to inform viewers there is going to be bloody graphic footage of animal slaughter. But before you prematurely dismiss yourself from viewing the content of this video, I want you to ask yourself, if it's not suitable for my eyes, how is it suitable for me to consume it? If you are a parent and you do not want your older children to view such footage, I would like you to ask yourself this question. What's worse, showing children videos of animals in the slaughterhouse, the production line, and then packaged beautifully to be eaten, or deliberately hiding the facts from them while making recipes for them full of death, negative consequences, and watch them eat the animals unaware but knowing they trust you as the provider. I was at this very crossroads decision on December 4th, 2015. I chose not to watch the animal slaughterhouse footage. Instead, I immediately went vegan. Now, as a full-time animal rights vegan activist, I still don't sit around and engage in watching slaughterhouse footage for fear of experiencing secondary post-traumatic stress disorder. I will, however, watch it in situations like this where I am exposing truths to viewers. So I chose this section of my house because this is my little Buddha box that I like to show people when they come in my house, and it has the message, do the right thing. Now I'm going to show you common farming practices that are in the United States, Canada, Australia, and the UK. There is going to be footage from the egg, dairy, wool, fur, experimental, and the meat industry, to include those industries that identify as humane, free-range, cage-free, and organic. Right here we're watching about the dairy industry. All dairy cows are impregnated by use of forceful insemination under the title artificial insemination. This is where a farmer will stick his arm through the anus of a cow to locate the cow's cervix. He will then stick a metal rod into the vagina of the cow and inject bull semen at the cervix. Often calves are removed from their mother within the first 24 hours of giving birth because in this industry, milk is for humans, not calves. If left alone, calves will grow up and stay with their mother for several years. Mother cows often chase after their young during this separation. Mother cows and the calves will cry out for each other because of this separation. Male calves are a byproduct to be killed and disposed of or sold into the veal industry, sometimes using a bolt gun to the head. This device is used to stun the brain or heart of an animal in an attempt to render unconscious before their neck is slit. But as you can see, the fast pace and the animal's desire to live makes this process very ugly. Female calves stay separated from their mothers and are raised to have their female reproductive systems exploited for the sensory pleasures of mankind. Mother cows are then forcefully milked 3 times a day. They are then forcibly impregnated again to continue the dairy cycle. Their bodies often give out after 5 years, and they are brutally picked up by machinery and slaughtered for a hamburger. At the slaughterhouse, these dairy cows soon detect their lives are in danger. They are then going to be shot in the head with a bolt gun, which sends a metal projectile into the brain to render them unconscious. This process is very sloppy. Because all they want to do is live. They are then hoisted up and bled to death. Wool and lamb, bolt guns or electrical shocks to the head. Do you actually get hungry for a gyro or a euro for the cost of life? These are all standard practices. Pork. Here we have concentrated animal feeding operations, also known as CAFOs, aka factory farms. It's a practice of keeping thousands of animals in intensive confinement, often their entire life. 99% of all farms meet the criteria of being a factory farm. Here again, we have forcible impregnation. These are female sows that are put into gestation crates. Pigs are the smartest domesticated animals. If you were to Google the smartest animals in the world, they'd come in at the top 10, often as high as number 4. The runt piglets are killed and disposed of. All piglets will have their teeth cut out, their tails docked, and their testicles removed without any anesthesia. They do this because they are going to keep these pigs in intensified crowded conditions for their entire 6 months of life before being slaughtered. These pigs are then going to be transported in extreme weather conditions, usually by means of semi-trucks. These pigs, this shows footage of pigs being lowered into a gas chamber to kill them as if and they're just thrashing around to stay alive. Another way of killing pigs is using an electrical device to stun them or a bolt gun to the head. If all slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be vegan. There's the electrical device they use. Or a bolt gun to the head. Chickens are again in the same forms of intensified confinement, also known as CAFOs, aka factory farms. This is what is currently popular in Nebraska in regards to Costco chicken plants, providing 40% of all the chickens in Costco stores nationwide. These chickens are usually a Ross breed, genetically mutated to grow grotesquely large in the breast area, causing painful stress inside and outside of the chicken. There's often a death rate of at least 5% of these chickens within the 5 to 7 weeks they are raised and ready for slaughter. They suffer from painful burns from the ammonia of dirty litter affecting their eyes and their respiratory system. 90% of these chickens have mobility issues because of their fast growth rate. A lot of these chickens suffer from heart conditions and actually have heart attacks. They're so densely stocked, they often have less room to move about than a standard sheet of paper. Free-range chickens, to qualify as free-range just means there has to be an opening at one end of an industrialized shed leading out to a dirt pit with no measurement requirements. If you want to learn more about how the industry manipulates you as a consumer, perhaps watch Super Size Me 2 on YouTube. These chickens then are created at industry speeds of 30 birds a minute, often leading to body parts being broken. Chickens are then live shackled on a mechanized factory system where their heads are first submerged into electrified water, trying to render them unconscious. But many experts argue the electricity used at best paralyzes them, in which they will experience pain when their throats are cut. There's the electrified water. Some chickens are moving around still after it. They're paralyzed. They can still feel as their necks are cut off. Now let's talk about beef. I think it's getting pretty familiar now. They use a bolt gun, and how easy it is to miss the mark because these animals are fighting for their lives. They know death is coming. They do not want to die. And this is standard practice. These are not some isolated events of so-called abuse. This is what they do to cows. This is what they do to animals. All for sensory pleasure of taste. What's more important, life or taste? Fish, too, have a complex sensory system where they can feel pain. 49% of the plastic that is in our oceans is lost fish nets, becoming tombs for marine animals. Super trawlers are the name of the ships that lay nets up to 1 mile long and capture all forms of life without discriminating. Sea turtles, dolphins, it can also be caught in these nets, and they are just termed bycatch. If you wear fake eyelashes, it could be from ferrets like these trapped in cages. Animals raised for fur are kept in terrible conditions, causing the animals to literally go insane. Down jacket doesn't look too innocent now does it? The warmth is definitely not worth the consequences to these beautiful animals. All right, so as soon as these chicks are born in the egg industry, these chicks are separated by their sexes. Female chicks are the only ones that can lay eggs, so the male chicks are a byproduct. They don't have the genetic mutations making them profitable to be raised for meat, so they are ground up alive and often added to feed for other animals. Over 250 million chicks, male chicks, die like this every year. Standard practice. Eggs aren't very innocent. Here we have a machine that will take the female chicks and sear the very tips of their beak off without any pain relief. The beaks of a chicken are their most sensitive part of their body. They do this because these layer hens are going to be in intensified conditions, which severely disrupt the natural social hierarchy order of chickens called the pecking order. This is where a chicken will peck another chicken to establish a personal space, but 65% of all layer hens are put into battery cages where they have less than the standard size piece of paper to turn around on for their entire existence of only 1 year because of the exploitation of the female reproductive system being so taxing on these bodies. Free-range chickens basically means they open up the battery cages, but all these chickens are still debeaked and are in a huge industrialized shed by the thousands and 10,000s. Chickens have been domesticated from a jungle fowl bird and are the closest living relative to a raptor dinosaur. And after they have served their egg-laying duties, we don't retire them, but we send them to slaughterhouses, often to be minced into foods like canned soups because their bodies are so bruised up. Their natural lifespan could be 8 to 12 years, but humans abuse them so much they only last about a year. And last but not least, stop being cheap and buying brands of makeup, cleaning supplies, etc. that practices animal testing or uses ingredients that are tested on animals. Simply stop making arbitrary choices and pause and do some research on your purchase. Look for the cruelty-free bunny logo on products. It only takes a little bit of time initially, but then you learn to locate brands you will support, and before you know it, there's not any time wasted when you repurchase. So the question I want to ask is, do you think animal abuse is wrong? Would you deliberately kill an animal if it was unnecessary? There's absolutely no reason that necessitates exploiting and killing animals in the United States and other well-off countries. There is only selfish excuses. So now that you've seen a glimpse of these truths, what do you think you can personally do about it? A simple answer is go vegan immediately. Don't tell me or yourself you can't do this. I'm a C5 quadriplegic, meaning I'm paralyzed from the neck down. I experience daily challenges, and going vegan was so easy when I did it December 4th, 2015. And when you go vegan today, Do you know what the number one benefit will immediately be for you? You will then be aligning your actions with your professed morals and values. Thank you, and feel free to reach out to me to introduce your newfound self. Also, on this posting of this video, I am going to include some helpful links and other movies to help you transition and successfully stay vegan. Thank you.